know who I mean when I say Darlene Reimer-Frost. She's a practitioner with Fox Life and a very skilled communicator and talented photographer. And she was going to be responsible for the recordings and the videotaping and all of that. But poor Dar, she came down with something and we didn't want her here breathing all over us. So we said, you're temporarily fired, stay home, and we've got this. So for today, we're just going to say to everybody, it's a little bit more intimate setting, as you can see. And there's a lot of people who have purchased tickets online. A lot of people amongst us have huge respect for Dr. Sylvia, and I'm one of her biggest fans. And so she's going to get up today and talk to us about the tech and how it works differently. So I'm excited to see what she means by differently. And like I said, it's going to be more of a relaxed setting today. There's not a whole lot of us, and we'll be able to have, you know, some conversation. And we've started out the day by doing that. And Terry and I are going to co-host. And I think that we'll roll it out like this, subject to our event planner's approval. We'll have Syl come up, and we'll have Syl do her thing and talk to us about what she has to share as a practitioner herself, and a very successful one, I might add. And a lot of you have become Syl's clients, so she's grateful for that, I know. And then we'll maybe have a Q&A, I don't know, but that'll probably take us a couple of hours. We'll break for lunch, we'll come back. I think we should have a sharing time, because I got some things that I'd like to share, and I like to talk, and there's people out there who would give me a go for that, and so we'll have a sharing time, and then we'll have some closing comments, and I think that'll run us through the day. So thank you very, very much for being here, because this was something we talked about doing for a long time. Still gets a lot of communications with questions about the tech, and she has her own full-time, very successful practice. So we thought maybe if we recorded today, and then we were able to clip it, which we're going to require Darlene's help for, then people who have paid for their tickets will get the recordings. Just be patient, because you understand we've had to pivot, and so we'll need a bit of time for providing that to the people who purchased. And we're going to have a draw. Syl very generously offered the ticket holders in attendance a chance to get a brain map. And that's a very expensive thing to have done, as many of you know. And then for those who bought a ticket and can't be here, we're going to put a little surprise package of patches together and send them to the winner. And Tracy Lalonde, who's here today, talked to us about a first aid patch package. And so we'll see what Syl has today to say to us today, and then we'll choose the first aid patches package accordingly.
Yeah, so thank you, Lori, for that. What I will say is, Lori said she likes to talk a lot. Well, she didn't before the tech. So maybe there's something in the tech that allows people to come out of their introverted state and blossom. And I'm certainly proud. If you folks knew my sister's story, it's pretty amazing.
I love it.
Anyways, I swore I was going to do this. Point is that I'm excited. Thank you. We will edit this out of the recording. How many times have we seen this though with Black Slate? Right? These special moments. But beyond her growth, beyond her recovery with this technology, we all have our own story. Today, to have Dr. Syl put this together is a blessing. We're not going to just share it here. We're going to share it far afield. But I want to tell you a little funny story about Dr. Syl. So those of you that know Dr. Syl, she can be the most beautiful, gentle, kind, and at times visceral, wonderful doctor and friend. But she can be excitable, she's compassionate, she's caring, and most of all, she's a friend. When we got this text from the first time we saw it with Jay, I didn't know Syl near as well as Lori knew Syl. She said, "Come on, we're going to go to Dr. Syl's. We're going to show her this crazy stuff." And so Lori had called Dr. Syl. This is before the company was even started. And she said, "Can my brother and I come down and see you about something we want to show you and get your opinion on it?" So, of course, we went down to her office in Burlington and we explained what it was. We proceeded to do a lateral and dynamic stability assessment on Syl. And being Hungarian, she's very reactionary. And so we tilted her over and we brought her forward and then we put her on the tech and we couldn't budge her. And her exact words were, "Thank goodness we can't edit that. That's that there, the true story." So from that day on, from a doctor's perspective, she understood it. She understood that something happened within seconds. And so Dr. Syl was Life's first practitioner to ever sign up. And so 6.5 years later, we're here with Dr. Syl. Thank you all for coming. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce our first practitioner and my friend, Dr. Syl.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much to being here in person, and thank you so much to being even watching the recording. Yes, like it's like we were talking about it with Terry and Lori in the beginning. We had so much interesting and funny stories as well, like how we started. 6.5 years, but we're still doing what we did and still doing what we loved even from the first time. So we did not have these technologies. We did not have the backup support. We did not have anything what we have today to supporting us, but we still had our beliefs and we still proceeded. Now the company is like growing and the products is growing. So since when we changed for the patches, I got endless messages through Messenger, Facebook, text messages, different time of the day and the week. And like, at night or 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, whatever, when everyone else was even thinking about something, with the same repeating questions. How does that work? Okay. Then the next question, I have, or the family or the friends or customers, I have this and this and this, such and such conditions. Which one should I give or suggest? I don't know. And they're looking like so many times I answer it back, like really like short answers or doesn't even answer it back for the same questions because it was just overwhelming. Then I said, like, okay, everybody once for all has to understand how this that works. The reason why, because talking to so many of you guys, I had an understanding that what you don't understand is not the tech or what is good for, is the biology behind. Do I correct? Yes. Okay. So then the other questions, like the other repeating questions was, like so many times, which diagnosis are we using, like how many different companies are working on, like, the verifying stuff and on and on and on. Like, okay. You don't understand again the biology. Like, what are we doing? So that's why we were decided with Darlene Frost that, okay, we understand a little bit differently, and I will teach you guys today. Are we ready?
Right. Can you, like, that microphone is windy, am I right? So try without the mic and see if it's better.
Okay.
Or
Alright.
hold it back. You might just want your hands free anyway.
Yeah. It's still okay in the back? Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna yell a little bit louder. Like so many of you didn't know, but even I had like a couple interesting health challenges just a few weeks ago. And if I'm gonna run out, the breath, or like I try to stop for a couple of times, please allow me. Okay. All right. So. Okay. Everybody knows probably the triangle, right? The reason why, because what's the number one impact in the whole entire human being, no matter what, is neurology. Even if you know or you feel it or not, like some people like arguing with me, like, no, that's not me. Yes, it is. You just don't know because you, like so many times, neurology, you cannot feel it. If you don't feel it, so many people are like, well, then it doesn't exist. Yes, it does. So, neurology always the first impact in the human body. What we are seeing and like the changes, or what we are using to verifying that, is the brain mapping, or the QEEG. Okay? So many of you seen it, done it, understand it, what it is. Now, in the meantime, the neurology impacts the chemistry and biochemistry at the cell level. We don't necessarily feel it immediately yet, but changes happening almost instantly. Where we will be able to see them, lab work, AO scan, what I was talking about in Chicago, and the live blood analysis. Okay. Then the chemistry, like whatever the neurology impacting for, there is a biological changes. Biological changes, again, where we can see and how we can verify it with the AO scan again, and the different studies. Like probably all of you heard about the studies, like about the recovery and like implants and everything else, right? This is what I'm talking about. This is when you see these studies, or like in hospitals, or faster healings and everything else because of that. Now, all of that, the last one, the last impact, what is feeling and visible for so many people is the mechanics and the physics, actually. This is the demo. This is where you will say that, okay, different mechanical movement studies, you will say like, okay, now I can believe it. The different mechanical movement studies or assessments, this is the demo, this is the California Sport Institutes and so many other sport teams, what they've done, okay? So, this line and how this works, like even how this neurology impacting the mechanics and physics. Do you have anybody here who doesn't know how is the demo, how is the demo works?
Do you mean how to do the demo, or do you mean?
And the reactions, both. Okay, we will get again. Okay, so, but this is where like you will see and feel the changes. Are we clear until this?
Is that kind of where you said those words to Terry? At that point?
Yeah, then 3 minutes later, like when I was like, okay, because then I was assessing the pack. I was like, okay, this is SP1, SP5, SP4. And then they just like, what are you talking about? Never mind. So, they had fun in the beginning and still they had fun. So, like, this is how it works, okay? Neurology impacting chemistry, biochemistry at the cell level. It is impacting in the biology and the mechanics and physics. Now, it is a whole entire feedback loop, okay? Because if from the physics, we're not gonna get any feedback to the brain, it is not gonna react, okay? And what is the brain is doing constantly or try to do in normal time, like as is the main job for that, put the whole entire body and the brain for homeostasis. We're gonna talk about it, okay? Because everybody's like, I talk to so many of you guys, like, do you know what means homeostasis? And everybody's like, oh yeah. Okay, tell me, what is your understanding? Well, we are in balance. Yep. Which one? So,
This is where you come in, so.
but they say yes. But the reason why, because I try to teach the field, not just to learn the word, to learn and understand what's the meaning behind. Because if so many of you doesn't understand, and you're gonna run into the clients, and they will have those questions, they just like, okay, he or she doesn't know what he's talking about. Then whose fault is that? Okay. All right. So, but that's basically where is every single Vox Tech, Vox Life technology, sorry, like I was showing, Vox Life technology works, no matter what, on the neurology level. All right. Any question with this one? All right. So, who's gonna do a quick demo?
Terry, you're the expert.
Perform the demo or the?
Yep, because we have one person. You don't have any technology on you at the moment.
I have a ton. Just did it recently and it didn't work, so I'm doing something wrong. So that's it.
Okay, so
I have to.
then
Anyone techless.
nobody, okay. Nobody's techless. However,
Oh, and Alex.
Don't, Diane.
okay. All right. Because everybody pretty much knows how is the demo has to get performed, right? And usually what is the impact or the response from the people? Like when you get done to the demo, they just like, how does that happen? However,
That's crazy.
it is crazy. Yeah, like different facial expressions as well, or verbal. Now,
Yeah.
at the same token, like we saw that triangle. What that means? I still need a volunteer to show. No, but she doesn't have to. Like with anybody.
Thanks, Brian.
You can keep your tag. You can keep your tag. No problem.
They're slip-ons.
That's okay. I'm gonna show you guys a couple of different demos or biohackings just to prove biohacking. All right. So thank you so much for coming
They're
here.
unchecked.
So how is everything is works? Like basically, I just need to hold your two hands, thumbs up, and close your eyes, and I will write something on your both hands. I just need to know from you to let me know what did I wrote. Okay? All right? His eyes is closed, right? All right. What letter?
All right.
Mhm. 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 It's turning just one hand. Mhm. Okay. So thank you, thank you, thank you. So his eyes is closed, right? How he knows what did I wrote? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter which side. Okay? Doesn't matter, like if you will asking from him and what you guys didn't see, doesn't matter. Like I wrote different angle, like from the different angles. It's not always the same. Like neither to A, neither to D, neither to I. He recognized no matter which way they do wrote it. Means that like so many times, like people are like, what did you try to prove? It's like, well, what did I try to prove right now that like no matter what, your eyes is closed and like your sensations is showing something. Okay, you know these letters, you know what you're feeling. So this is when the instant impact happening between your skin and the brain. Right? Yeah. This is how even our technology works. Back to homeostasis, all right? Because homeostasis, basically, everybody's like, oh, because like homeostasis try to like what your brain tried to do. Everybody thinks that like, oh, this is the homeostasis. But the reality, every single moment, our brain and the whole entire body and organs, we are just balancing. Like check, 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 correct, check, correct, check. So it's never like this. All right. So like when we're talking about homeostasis, please don't say that. It's like, well, like put me into homeostasis if I'm perfectly fine and I'm not going out from this one. No, no. This is not the case. All right. Now, when we are talking about homeostasis, I know it should be like a little bit bigger screen, but when we are talking about
The title's on the roof.
like it is like the homeostasis regulatory systems, okay? Now, the regulatory systems, because like as I showed you guys, it doesn't mean like that when the technology it is homeostasis. What that means? Means that every single of these regulatory system perfectly checked, balanced out, and then the whole system working in harmony, right? So when we're talking about homeostasis, that's why I usually say like, which one? So the proper word, the full body's homeostasis, right? We are not going to go through every single of them because like even just every single of these pathways or homeostasis regulatory systems, it is the topic by their own. Like we are not going to learn it. You guys doesn't have to learn it academically as I do, what the practitioners do. You don't need to know, but you just need to understand what that means. All right? Are we good? All right.
So can I ask a quick question?
Okay, anytime, guys. Like when you will feel that you don't understand something, or like you have a question, either or write it down, or like just interrupt me. Okay. Go ahead.
So I generally say, putting your midbrain into homeostasis. So you're telling me I shouldn't be using that terminology at all, right? That it should be putting your whole body in homeostasis or harmony. Starting with the brain, I would say. I don't know.
Starting with the midbrain, but when we talking about like okay, so again, like if you're talking with somebody who has a little bit more biological understanding than like
Me.
no, but that's the reason why we are learning today, okay? Because when you said that it is puts the midbrain into homeostasis, here at the HP axis, here at the ghrelin-leptin system, or here at the sympathetic adrenomedullary system, which systems is put the midbrain into homeostasis? It is sending a signal to the midbrain. Okay, so sending a signal to the midbrain to go into homeostasis. Now, why? Because most of the time, like even if you not really well, but if you were seeing the HP axis, any of you who like who work with me or like my clients, like you know that like you will hear me over and over and over 1,000 times talking about the HP axis, HP axis, HP axis, HP axis, and everybody's like, what? HP axis is a hypothalamus, pituitary gland, and adrenal gland. All right.
Say that again?
Hypothalamus, pituitary gland,
Pituitary.
pineal, like pineal and pituitary glands, and adrenal
And
glands.
adrenal, so they're all in a feedback loop. Okay.
Yeah, so like, but that's why I said, like, we are not gonna go through every single of them, like which one is means, because like, yeah, there is a midbrain involved, but like that's like sending the signals, because that's the first step, right? But to understand, to put every single homeostasis regulatory system into homeostasis, okay? Then it is the full, like it creates the full homeostasis. Normally you can use the term that it is puts the midbrain into homeostasis. You can use it because a lot of people doesn't know like what that means or what you're talking about. And yes, it is true, and like in a large amount wise, it is true. But what's gonna happen if you run into just one? Okay, so you don't have to necessarily change the your words or the verbal explanation what you're using for most of the people. Okay, but you will have to know what that means.
In case you get a ringer in the.
Yes, like in case like
When they're out there, one of those nurses.
one of those nurses or somebody like me is like, let's challenge you. Okay. The reason why, because guys, when you're doing a trade show, there is a complete stranger. Do you necessarily know who's that person? No. And who's gonna be more ashamed and feel left out, like when they're gonna start challenging you? It's number one, you. Then number two is the whole entire company, because they will say that they don't know what they're talking about. Right?
So I had a guy at a hockey tournament who was a physics engineer. Oh my gosh, it traumatized me. You know, like it's very, but I think that guy was one that aren't gonna buy into this.
So what's So again, like, it's just a little bit of the sidetracking, that what this means really, what this really means homeostasis. It is useful to memorize. But I don't know how you can pronounce that word, then mnemonic, or I don't know how you say that one. That one. But I can say the Macy.
Maintenance of a.
Because like just memorize the words Macy, because Macy is the maintenance of the constant internal environment. This is homeostasis. This is what I was just talking about, you guys. All right. And which means that conditions in the body must be constantly controlled because cells depends on the body's environment to live and function. Now, if you understand these words, you will understand the whole entire pictures. What I started to showing to you on the balance board and even with the 12 regulatory systems. The tendency to maintain a stable, relatively constant internal environment is called the homeostasis. Again, guys, is that understandable? That is
Yes.
like, what is homeostasis, right? Because the body maintains homeostasis for many factors in addition to temperature. Like, for example, the concentrations of various ions in your blood must be kept steady, along with the pH and concentration of glucose and so many other things. If any of these values just get too high or low, this is when we're getting sick, all right? So this is when I used to say, like, yeah, because your HPA axis is out of homeostasis. And they just said, I'm just gonna put the tech back on. Yeah, really, with the problem because of this. Okay. Homeostasis, and I already mentioned this to you guys, homeostasis is maintained at many levels, not just the level of the whole body, like as is, for example, for the temperature. It is maintaining homeostasis at each level is key to maintaining the body's overall function. Are we clear?
Yeah.
So, this is when I usually throw the curveball. Why it's important and why, like, almost dismissible to wear the like the human performance technology. Why walks life, and why we still, like, after 6.5, 7 or whatever years, we still keep saying that, listen, what we have, no one else has. I'm cheating.
You're giving us the answer. It's open book. HPT is key to maintaining the body's overall function. Explain.
So I know, like, some of you or so many of you remember, like, way back the early days, when I tried to explain this one with different pictures and with different analysis, like how is the wires in the house and how is the one when we turn on the lights or the light bulbs. Okay, I tried to explain that understandably in that time. Now we're still doing it, but this is what is really happening. If you will tell to everyone about the HPT technology and why we are such a an important important company, and why technology is so important, because hardly anything out there what can do this, at least with my knowledge. Okay, all right. So, and if you will telling them this one, like, that word or that sentence, not word, sentences, nobody's gonna argue with you because they're just like, "Hmm, yeah. Okay.
Well, that's just a statement of fact,
Mhm.
right? Yeah.
And that's why I said it's like, instead of saying that putting the midbrain
Yeah.
into homeostasis, if you will tell them that because the original technology and still what we are still using, it's maintaining homeostasis, each level is a key, and maintaining the body's overall function. Okay, in homeostasis. Okay, is that clear?
Thank you. Like
All right, now here's the light bulb. What?
That's confusing to me. I liked what we just said. You simplified it, so I get it.
No, yeah, like that's what
I got like that really, after 6 years, that hits my head. I get that. Finally.
finally.
I'm a little slow, but that's okay.
No,
I get gray hair, but
No,
that.
no, okay. Please don't go that way. But please don't go that way. The reason why, because that's why I try to teach you guys. And talking about, talking about it. And like, let's do different trainings. Did
Yeah.
everyone else heard what Kim just said? After, can you just repeat it for me, please? That everyone else will hear what did you just
After
say.
6 years,
After 6 years, I get this.
yes.
That last statement makes more sense to me than anything else I've trained. Like when you show me that other picture, that thing really scares me.
Oh,
Because
you don't
it's
like
some-
Neuroman?
No. It's overwhelming, it's a lot of reading, it's a lot of trying to take it in.
Yeah.
I don't do well with that, it's just who I am.
You have other
But this
strengths.
finally makes sense for when I get that person that comes to me and throws me that curveball, that 2%. You know, I'm usually pretty good at backpedaling, but at the same time, I don't wanna backpedal.
That's right.
Yeah.
I wanna do that.
Yep.
I wanna say that and end it so that they can then go do their research.
Yep.
Excellent point.
Yep.
Really good.
Okay,
Can I put-
Yeah.
further?
sorry.
So just even connected, the word overall is really that key word, and it brings us back to that diagram, I think, where the neurology is tip of the iceberg. Like, that's helpful because the triangle is always being a little like,
Yep.
okay, well, this and that, but the word overall, that
Overall.
neural, that peak, it
Overall
is
function.
overall.
Overall function.
And going down into all.
Overall.
Yeah.
And like any other words, I know this is more scary for you guys, and that's why I said don't try to understand. Okay, but overall.
What
or-
Kim and I take from that complicated picture is that it
Overall.
is complicated.
All right,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. That's all I need,
Yeah.
is it's
like,
complicated.
like that's why I said overall.
The
Overall,
summary
yes.
statement is what we.
Is
is to take
maintaining the
away.
body overall.
And that, if I may, that's really, it comes back to what then makes it unique. Because there are other things that impact all of those other levels, but
Yes.
because it's impacted neurology. Is overall, that would, like, so we go back to say like nothing else out there,
Overall.
that's just connecting dots.
Yep. Because why it's nothing else out there, like when we're talking about the human performance technology or, the basic technology, because now, if you take apart what any other nutritional companies or any other wearable neurotech companies or any other things doing, not overall, one piece, and even not even the whole system. So many times it's like pinpointing like that or that, like this is the impact. Now, the other thing, if you're gonna go back here, when we're talking about medications, supplements, not just drugs, like medications, supplements, everything else. As soon as you take it, instead of making it the straight down line, what's happening? This is where they're getting the impact first.
Are
Because
you
it's
saying that
chemistry.
impact first, so if you're not wearing the tech?
No. Okay. I said, what's happening when you're taking any medications or supplements?
but I'm not clear on whether it's at the same time as wearing the tech or without the tech. Does
Doesn't
not
matter.
Okay.
The reason why, because.
So don't yell at me, honey.
If anybody doesn't know, I gave Lori so many times such a hard time. With PTSD and everything. However, again, this is a relevant question. And that's why I'm trying to explain it to you guys, okay? Because she just tried to put together, like put it together in her head.
Yeah.
Like, what did she just say?
Yes.
So when we are using the tech, this is what's happening. When you are adding and you remember overall,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
overall, we are start to use any medications, painkillers, anything, any medications, or even natural supplements. This is goes in first, not here. Here. Means that the whole entire feedback loop completely different. And so many times it's a completely different impact. Now, sometimes like that's the reason why, like, you know, even when I'm working with patients, like, okay, hold on for a second. When you're coming to treatments, I want to wear or not to wear the technologies and which one. That's the reason why. Are we clear? All right. So, yeah.
When you're talking about supplements and then there's herbal products.
And those are the same.
Same.
Affects the biochemistry, right?
But I'm a geek, so a different geek, even with so many other practitioners. The reason why, because like, you know, there's so many practitioners, they train either or here, like for that level, or they train for here, that level, or they train for here. And why I am, not why, that's the wrong statements, like why, or what I understand differently. Which supplements are working which way together with treatments and even the supplements and the technology together. So many times my clients are like, so shall I wear it or shall I not wear it? Or like, it's like, guys, I will let you know. Okay, but why? I don't have time to explain all of it, but just please follow my request, okay? Because like, you know, like it's complicated, and like they will ask me, and it's like, listen, even very well trained like for very well trained practitioners, I will have to repeat over and over and over so many times what is the chemistry or biochemistry impact when we are adding into this one or not adding into this one. Okay,
To the neurology.
Yep. So, but that's on the side. But is that clear? Like, that's why I said this is like, this is how the human body, like how much complexity we are talking about. Okay, so it's not that simple, and that's why usually it's like, please just do what I've been asked from you. Alright, but now is that more clearer? Why? Okay, like when I say A or nay, and where is the impact is starting from? Right. Here's a picture. Okay, Kim is afraid from. However, guys, this that was our first picture, and not even just a picture. When it's get done, like for Box Life, I said, thank you, thank you. Oops. Because what you're seeing in here and why it's still there, this picture is my original go-to, because I can explain so many things from one picture. The reason why, because what you're seeing in here, in a really, really simplified way, it is over probably more than a 600 page of neuroscience book. Okay. So, however, here is the picture, and this is where is the light bulb analysis started from. Because I tried to explain even in the beginning that like, well, you know, guys, like here's this system and this like that, and then usually, especially in the beginning, what we used to see, like with Terry and Lori and like anybody, like
Yeah.
still.
Yeah.
So this is
Waiting
like,
over.
okay, guys, this is your house. Like our body is the house. The central nervous system is the wiring in the house. Okay. You try to turn on the light, which is the brain. We will need the switch. It's a little bit more complicated, but we will see today. But this is the simplest explanation. Okay. This is the light switch to be able to turn on the light bulbs. Now, so many times, like everybody's like, you know, like then this is when the questions usually started that, yeah, but I did not feel that one or cause more pain or not pain. Like, okay, like you, what's like anybody who lives in a house, what's happening if your electrical wires are polarized?
Corroded? Yeah.
Shorts.
Yeah, shorts, yeah.
Until, because like it's like, you know, still the electricity, like even like the energy is still hitting it. It's firing. It's like it's either or break it or going through and clear the pathways. Exactly the same thing happens. All right. So like that's why I said now you don't have to use these pictures. However, like there is so many keywords what you can learn from. All right. I'll be clear with this one. Yes.
Just to quickly clarify.
Yep.
I can't remember. So like the switch itself is actually the body's capacity to receive the message and then the turning on is HPT. Like what is
No, the switch, like the light switch
what is
the technology.
okay, so you would say that.
Yes, that's the technology because no matter what, the body is functioning that way. And I will show you guys later on too, okay? The body is functioning that way, but if I'm gonna give you a regular socks, it's gonna turn on the light bulb?
No. But isn't the light bulb already kind of on? But that's always been kind of my question, right? Like because we are still
There's still some,
functioning.
there's still some.
That's why I wondered if it's like
Sort of, yes, because we are awake, but like, yes.
and we can only use the tech body can feel it.
Yeah.
And certainly there's more, I no question I've used that switch and tech all the time, but like it brings the light and increases pain. But you know,
Let me ask Opdale,
yeah.
is the body the wiring? I would say the body is the wiring part. Yeah,
If the
the switch is tied to the wiring.
Well, yeah. That's
That's helpful.
not gonna happen. So, are we clear with this one? All right. Now, is it? What? That's it. Okay, here we go. Okay. You don't have to learn this one again, like these words. All right. But in any other words right now, we are stick to feeling great. The pleiotropic new super patches. I know, like, here's the, like, I see some of your face, like Evan, everybody wearing. That's a new word. Talking about that.
All I wanna know is, do I need to know it?
You don't need to know it.
Good.
But
I can screenshot, yeah.
yeah, you don't need to know that. Oh, that is. What this means, pleiotropics opens up multiple pathways. Okay. So, if you remember back again to homeostasis regulatory systems. Yep. This is when it comes in, hence like pleiotropics opens up multiple pathways. But different patches works on different neural networks or different pathways and other pathways. Way back when NeuroVax came out, or like right now, like they're like, you know, the older version of the defense. Lori and I and a couple other people, we did like a little bit different testings. Okay. We did saliva, we did like urine analysis, and the reason why, because me being a geek, plus, I needed proof always that, like, I know what it's supposed to get done, but is that really gonna get done? I need to see it. So, and when I was talking about after one event, after the fact that it was changed 52 different pathways, so some people are like, what? You don't need to know all of it, but this is when we started using optimizing. Okay,
The word, yeah.
the word optimizing. Maybe one day we're gonna do like a training call or something where I can show you guys the lab test results and why we are saying always optimize. But that's a completely different thing. All right. And now you will understand why so many times, I don't even know how many times I kept saying, start with HPT. Okay? Because HPT opens up the whole entire homeostasis regulatory system. Then here's the pleiotropics, which opens up multiple pathways. But that's the reason why, where it's like each of them works on one or two. Now, is that more clear and understandable?
Yeah.
Because way back, I tried to explain that when the NeuroVax came out, and everybody's like, you don't know what you're talking about. Just wait and see. So, but now you will, like now, because we will have so much different patches. Is that understandable and clear? Like why? HPT, no matter what, HPT number 1 plus. Okay. All right. Any questions at the moment?
When I first, just a comment, when I first met Syl, and I slapped down a word, that I was cool, dermatome. I said, it, impacts your dermatomes. And she keyed on that word, because that word was in her training experience and her education. So, so it supports your point though, Syl, about having some background knowledge for a person with specialized education,
Yes.
to key on, so that you don't look like a complete moron when they're, and it will happen.
And it will happen.
It will happen.
It will happen. Like, I mean, even
To them, and I'm not saying you're a moron.
No, no,
I'm just
not-
saying you look- Let me clarify.
No, the reason why, because, like, even in the beginning, with like what Lori mentioned in the beginning, like, like when I started, oh, that there is SP5, SP3, and that one is impacting, the demo tone, like, this and she's like, what is demo tone? What are you talking about?
Like I had heard Jay say it, so I just parroted what he said.
No,
She could have been more cruel. She knows I have a threshold.
Yeah. So, but no, the reason why, because and why I stopped using the demo tones,
Yes.
because I had to learn that even what is natural for me, like talking about demo tones, even new naturopaths, osteopaths, or any other practitioners, they finished the school, they came out from school, and it's like, well, because of like you will have to do this and this and that, because of the dermatomes, they are not even trained for that.
That's right, and that's why your European training was.
Like
I
they
think, so
have
prominent.
zero ideas what this means dermatomes. Okay, now that's the reason why I stopped using it. We were, let me
Rephrase
that one. And what is the rephrase? I will show you guys a video today. Yes.
So you're saying that the pathways, those other specialized pathways, if you're not using the HST, will they?
Only one. Like that one specific pathways, not multiple pathways. You still can use it. Like it doesn't mean that it's not like it's not wrong to doing that. You can do it. It's just like, but like like when we're gonna go through like the whole day today, like so many, because you have like there is more than a few people in this room that we have a little bit more understanding when we're talking about conditions, like what you and I and Barb understand, like most of the people, like as condition wise, like don't even go there. And don't send me the question at 3 o'clock in the morning. So, but yes, you can do it. If somebody has the knowledge, yes, they can do it. But most of the fields, like they are not trained for that. And to get the most benefits and most faster and best reaction, that's why we are saying HPT plus.
I think I'm sure we'll all have the opportunity to hear a situation where we have people who aren't very mannered, aren't have an idea about it. They have something. They have
Yep. Yeah. Yes, you can. Yes, like that's why I said, like there is no, like in certain situations, like it's not like wrong or better or whatever. Like you can like with these patches right now, you can do both.
I think it's really good though to give people, just from our training the other night, Terry, on Monday night, where Big Al told us to offer people options so that they feel in control of the choices that are out there for them and in control of their expenditures too. So option A is probably ideal. Option B is less than ideal, and option C, like really, don't waste your money kind of thing. I don't know. Like you want it. It's like if you give Terry's analogy about the hearing aid. First of all, wear the stuff because you can't hear better with your hearing aid on the dresser. So I think client education is a really important element of what we do. But at the same time, we're not saying this is an absolute must. But for better results, wouldn't you want to, or Terry's other analogy is if the doctor gave you a prescription, would you take it Like every other day, or would you take it according to the directions on the block?
Yeah.
So can I just ask a question? With the, if I'm understanding it, if you did have somebody who's like, I kind of want to try it, but I only want to try one patch, would you always start with just, we'll try with the Liberty? Because that will open everything up and hopefully make a little bit of difference, even though they're not specifically getting a pain patch or like a freedom patch or whatever. But if you could only buy one, because sometimes people do like, well, I don't want to try a million of them. I don't know how it would feel. So you would always start with, well, why don't you try with the Liberty is the one that is sort of like, kind of turns everything on.
Turns everything on, yeah.
Yeah, turns everything on and then see how you feel. And then if there's something you want to add to that down the road, I think sometimes people are hesitant like to get the kit. You know what I mean? Like there's so many companies out there. You get the starter kit or whatever. So if you're on a budget, maybe that would be the starting point. Right?
And Vera, to your point, for me, because everybody has a different approach, I'm working with, well, we went and demoed our mechanic. Didn't he have the greatest experience? We gifted him some product. We have sample packages. But his wife's a teacher. They have a kiddo that has not been identified. Sometimes there's wisdom in that as well, but he's a busy little body. So we gifted the mechanic something for participating in our demo challenge, and it went very well. And now Mom, who's a teacher, is in on it, and now they're planning an event at their garage with all their people. But for me, in dealing with her, knowing that HPT opens up the bulb, so to speak, I said, why don't you put a pair of socks on that little guy?
Yeah.
And then, it'll be a 1-2 punch if you add the flow patch, and we'll see what happens. No guarantees. We don't even know what his deal is. We just know he's a busy little boy, and he's in the classroom going around hugging everybody else doing their work. So this is my gift to the classroom.
Does anybody remember we did some calls with Dr. Martin Breaker called Passfield?
Yeah.
On my YouTube channel, there's my YouTube channel with my name. Those recordings are there. And what really impacted me from understanding is no different than what Syl was saying about the HPT opening up pathways. And the analogy that Dr. Mark gave was, remember the janitor at your school had the keychain that had a key for every room in the school, right? So the HPT is basically the key to every room in your body, the master key. But when you wear the technology, the HPT, the brain then self-regulates. In other words, it picks what it believes needs fixing first. Not necessarily what you might think needs fixing first. So I've had the greatest success, and I mean, I've been doing this from day one, and I've never had a pair of socks returned, ever. Patches, anything.
Because they're nice socks anyway.
That's good.
Yeah. Maybe, in some cases, maybe people are embarrassed. I don't know. But what I really try to do is set people up for success. And Syl's, always magnificent at helping us all do a better job at explaining it from a medical perspective, to a degree. But I will not let anybody buy just one pair of socks on me personally. I can't stop them from going on my reputed site. But what I try to explain to them is that, as Sylvia said, it's like a light switch. The tech does not work in the drawer. It does not work. And once the tech is on, then the body is now in the best position to do what it needs to do to be the best it can be at a number of things: balance, healing, strength, stress level. If we add another modality to it, I'm telling people now that if we look at just the pathway of stress, it'd be so much better if we continue to keep the other, all the other pathways open, but the HPT will recognize that it has a helper in that room. So it doesn't need to use that key to go into that room because it recognizes that it already has a helper. Then I tell people that unless you're prepared to wear it for at least 21 days straight, can't help you. Because I told them, if I go to my doctor, and my doctor prescribes me a pill, and it says, take the pill twice daily with meals, or until the bottle's empty, and I decide, I'm just gonna take it every other day. And then I go back to the doctor, do I go back to the doctor and start yelling at the doctor and say, these stuff, this pill didn't work? And he said, well, did you take them finally? And I'm like, oh, I took it every. So it's just logical to think that we're not going to go back to our doctor and do it the wrong way with each factor. So I tell people, with all due respect, I've been doing this for 6.5 years. I'm learning to the best of my ability every day.
And
what I'm
benefit,
really trying to do is
like
help
product
you.
user.
I'm trying to help you. So I'm asking you to be compliant with me. And if you're not willing to spend a couple $100 on yourself, because you don't care that much, well, I can't care more for you. You have to care enough yourself that you're willing to invest in your own health, willing to invest in your own, wear it compliantly, and then we'll talk. And so after 21 days, I get them to take the tech off 4 days or 5 days. And when you get to day 21, I want you to journal everything you feel. Whether it's you're less tired at 3 in the afternoon, whether you all of a sudden realize you haven't had to use the railing going down the stairs, whatever it is, whether your pain has increased. Don't panic because something's happened. And just because your pain increases doesn't mean it's necessarily a bad thing. So
Back to Syl's word of optimize.
So what I try to do with people now that we've had the new patches, because it can get a little bit confusing and convoluted. Today's a great day to help all of us. But I'm only telling you from my experience as we do these new modalities in that
Here, then everyone else will hear you and see you.
I'm just done. But my point is, we have to take stake in what we do because we're all here because we love to help people, and that's the bottom line. And if someone's not willing to help themselves, then it becomes about money, doesn't it? It becomes about selling a pair of socks rather than selling a technology or introducing a technology that you truly care about that person's health. And I'll say to them, do you have any problems selling or spending $200 on stuff that's not good for you? Whether that's chicken wings or whatever, zucchini or beer or whatever, cigarettes, whatever. People do that without hesitation. So you reached out because you're interested. Please allow me to be the doctor, the neurological doctor here, and follow my instructions, please. Then after that 28-day time frame, if you truly believe that your life is not improved, then I'll gladly get your money back. And it's never happened. Because you take the time in the beginning rather than saying, yeah, just buy a sock. Now, I have had people that called me and said, I bought a pair, but I didn't really do anything. I said, how often did you wear them? Then I could go into the analogy about the hearing aid. If your hearing was terrible and life was terrible because you had a hearing aid, would you take your hearing aid out when your life was good and put it in the hamper? You wouldn't. I said, don't do it with our technology. The socks are just delivery mechanisms, as are the insoles, as are the patches, as are anything. So I hope that helps when presenting, because it did when Dr. Mark mentioned it on the call. It really lit up for me to say, hey, yeah, the brain does recognize it. I got help from that person.
Yeah.
Right? So, anyway, thanks.
Thanks, Terry. Can I ask a question that kind of bounces off of that? Because Dr. Mark, I appreciated the HPT unlocks the front door. That opens up the front door, and then he talked about each room, and so I've been trying to apply those to the patches because we have said you can try one patch, like I'm dealing. So does this fit that if someone was just using the piece patch, it's more like climbing in the window, you still might get in the room, it's a whole lot easier to go into the front door, like having them together? Does that kind of
Yes,
like
kind
you
of that,
can
kind of
work if you're trying to climb in a window? It's
I just
easier
wanna,
to
yes,
walk in the
exactly. Yeah, like it's
I like
without the HPT. Yeah, it's like as you said, it's like okay, there is a second story window. You can go there. You can get
It's
in,
harder, but you
but
can
it's
still.
a little harder. Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. All right.
So can we have 5 minutes to eat?
Okay, pretty right, so then 10 minutes of a break, okay, guys, then we're gonna be back.
Thank you.
Well, we got too much coffee. Oh, that's fine. That's the whole thing, because now there is a video. How is the dermatomes? Oh, actually. Okay, because like so many times, like you can tell them, even for practitioners, that dermatomes and
Okay, gotcha.
okay, all right. So, I'm gonna try to turn down the lights. I don't know how. Hold on, guys. That is. All right.
Did you bring popcorn?
Why, have to?
If I'd have thought of it, oh, I would have.
I don't know why we don't have any sound, but.
Unmute it.
Oh, I know, but still.
Does it have anything to do with this projector, so?
Oh. I do have a speaker, so you can.
It's still, like, we still have a speaker too, but, okay. I will. Here's some sound.
Which potentials are generated and sent to the brain.
She's more techy than she
There are
was. I totally have never done that before.
The sense of touch or tactile sense is the perception of objects that come into contact with the skin. Basically, mechanical stimuli such as pressure, breath, vibration, or movement cause physical deformation of tactile receptors, which are essentially nerve endings of sensory neurons. The deformation typically leads to the opening of ion channels, allowing ions to flow in or out of the cells, resulting in cellular depolarization. If the stimulus is strong enough, action potential is generated and sent to the brain. There are several types of tactile receptors located in different layers of the skin and deeper tissues. Anatomically, they can be encapsulated or unencapsulated, meaning they are wrapped or not wrapped in connective tissue, respectively. Functionally, they can be rapidly adapting or slowly adapting. Rapidly adapting receptors generate action potentials when first stimulated, then they adapt and reduce or stop generating signals, even if the stimulus continues. They respond to changes and therefore detect movements and sequence of events rather than static objects. Slowly adapting receptors, on the other hand, keep generating signals for a longer time. They carry messages about steady pressure on the skin and sense objects' texture, edges, and shapes. Touch receptors also differ in their sensitivity. Some respond to light touch, others sense only heavy pressure. A sensory neuron receives signals from an area called its receptive field. Any touch within a receptive stimulates one sensory neuron, transmitting one single signal to the brain. Being touched at 2 points within a receptive field would feel like a single touch. On the skin of the back, 2 points of contact centimeters apart may feel like one touch, while on a finger, 2 contact points just 2 meters can be felt separately. Receptors with small receptive fields are more sensitive. They respond to lower frequencies of vibration. Receptors with large receptive fields typically respond to higher frequencies of vibration. A touch sensory pathway involves 3 neurons. Touch receptors are first-order neurons. Their axons form sensory fibers that enter the spinal cord via the dorsal root of the spinal nerve. Inside the cord, First order neurons synapse with second order neurons either near the point of entry or in the bottom of the brainstem. Second this is how sensory information, left side of the body, is transmitted to the right side of the brain and vice versa. Third order neurons conducting information from the thalamus to the sensory cortex. Sensory neurons from the face and head follow several cranial nerves, mainly the trigeminal nerve to the brainstem, where they synapse with second order neurons, which decussate and continue to the thalamus. The sensory cortex is spatially organized so that its adjacent areas represent neighboring regions of the body. The size of the cortical area representing a certain body region is proportional to the number of sensory receptors it has. Thus, sensitive regions with high density of receptors, such as fingers or face, have a larger cortical representation than the less sensitive trunk.
All right.
Friday,
All right. So. Is that what's helpful?
Yeah.
Okay.
There must be a small sensory field in the ball of the foot. I would-
Okay, so. Like everywhere, okay? So, and now if you really, like, I know, like, you will have to listen over and over and over, more than just a one-time is video to understand what they're talking about. Yes, there is my buddy, the homunculus again.
Oh, yeah, the homunculus man. I love that guy.
So, but at the same time, when you're really analyzing and listening and learning what they were talking about, they were explaining very well how is the dermatomes connects to their connects to the nerve system and goes to the brain. It was just a lot simpler explanation. Now, when we if you think about it, why the patches works faster than the socks? What did you just see in the video?
Smaller sensory fields. Interesting.
So, but even the company and the technology and everything else had to grow up to this point because okay, yeah, there is the knowledge, but if we cannot or we won't be able to apply or making any carriers to deliver this technology and these normal biomechanisms. So, but that's the reason why, so many times, if you guys remember back that first we had the insoles, then we had the socks, then we had the first of harmony patch. And if you remember why even Jay and me, I used to say okay, if somebody doesn't really respond that much well to the socks, try the patches. That time was one patch. Okay, and that's the reason why. Okay, because when you're shrinking it and to the smaller receptor size, the impact or the impulse, it is a lot more stronger than what we had in the beginning. All right, does that make sense?
Yeah. Does it depend on what part of the body? Or the impact?
It just, why is it? Yeah. Technology again. Now, Is that okay if we're gonna stop for break, like for lunch break, guys?
Sure.
Then when we're gonna come back, we're gonna go through every single of them, one by one, about the new patches. With your questions and everything else, then we will have a Q&A and more explanations. Okay? Old harmony HPC patch. Okay? Improving how we move and change direction are cornerstones of our healthy lifestyle and daily activity. And like, yes, like you can find these ones like even on the prescriptions on the website. However, what the prescription does not say, and maybe I'm gonna be in trouble because of that. What like what basically the website did not say about the Liberty patch, that due to the impact, like the Liberty's impact, and we were just talking about earlier today, so don't ask me what's the impact. However, it helps absorption of any supplement or drugs as well, not just supplements. So, like if you remember back when I said in the beginning that that's the reason why so many times why I said either or, you wear it, not wear it, and which one, like which treatment, which supplement, and when we are using, that's the reason. Okay. Knowing you guys what you know right now, can anybody answers for the why?
Turn the light on.
Turn the line on, yes.
The neurology is open and ready.
And what neurology is impacting? Come on, guys. Right. It was, I know, but like we had lunch between the two sessions. I know.
What neurology?
What neurology impacts?
It impacts everything.
Biochemistry.
Biochemistry.
Okay.
Oh, you're talking about supplements. Okay, yeah.
Supplements or
Yeah.
medications. It's not just supplements, like whatever what you're taking. When you have the patch on, like the patches on, the absorptions is much faster compared to when you're just taking without HPT technology any supplements or any drugs. I'm not gonna tell you the percentage. I know, but I officially I cannot say it. So now these ones, like not just these, every single patch, like guys, like this comes for a 28 or a 4 packs. I'm not gonna repeat that every single time. Is that okay? All right.
Yeah.
That's true of stocks as well. That's true of the stocks. It's the absorption.
Yes and no. No. Because why yes and no? Because I just told you guys one of the fact of the secrets that when we were using the socks, so yes, even with socks, it's faster. However, not with the same rate as with the new patches. Yep. Now, when we are talking about enhancement, do you know, guys, already the answer why the new patches is enhanced compared to the old ones? Yes, you do.
Yeah. Smaller.
Yes, you do. You just smaller, bigger impact. Okay. I know, like that's what I was like. I know. We are after
Because of the receptors recognize it better.
That's right. But that's what when we are talking about enhancement. So because basically the old patches, poor point, like the old patches compared to the socks or the insoles, those are enhanced. If you think about the mechanism, what I just explained that to you before, Now, every single new patches is enhanced compared to the old patches. All right?
So is Liberty significantly different than Harmony? Is Liberty different than Harmony?
It's not different. Enhanced.
But it's not smaller.
It is.
Same stuff. What is it?
The technology, like the technology compared to the original one, is smaller.
Can I, because I think this clarifies, right, so the physical patch is the same top five.
Yes.
The technology.
The
if you
technology.
Look at the new one, it changed, I'm not telling you the right word, but the
Okay.
smaller is the technology.
Do you remember? I don't know, Sherry. Like, do you remember the original Harmony patch, which was like the blue?
Bigger image.
Yeah, but like a bigger image, like what a lot wider ones.
Hey, what about the ones we got in Vegas? They were like, flesh colored kind of ones. Yeah.
Here we go to all these guys. I know that's some new ones. What are we talking about? Flash colors. But yes, okay. So,
Version 1.
any other questions about the Liberty?
Well, I still would love, there's no visual on that, right, of how, I'd love to see how one patch compares to another, or the patch on the stock compares to a patch.
Now you want to
Guys, who has a patch on and who has a soft on? All right. Okay. Soft on. All right, can I just borrow somebody's feet? No, you can sit down. You don't have you don't have that.
I was gonna say, my balance is good, but I don't know.
No, not that. You can come here. You want to see the
Oh, I
difference.
yes.
Okay? All right. Technology, what's the size that compared to this?
If I look at 1x3, then that 2x2.
Yes. However, how about if I'm gonna pull it? Can you do this one?
No.
No. There you go.
These are large on a small sheet, you're right.
Oh, and again, it's not the physical size, right?
It's the,
The
what's
height
going on
of the-
Yeah, yeah. But even the physical size, because like as is, like she said that the socks what is on her feet, it is size large. If she would wear the normal, like the medium, what she would normally wear, if you guys know, come on guys, everybody knows the size of the tag on socks.
Yeah.
If not, we were having a moment. You know that like when you're wearing it like in a proper size, you know the tag is a lot wider and longer.
Yeah.
So if you think about it, that basically almost like a 2 by like not even, I don't even know the actual measurement of socks, but that's why I said it's like shrink it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Any other questions about Liberty? Okay. All right. Next. Victory. Victory is athletic performance like never before. It's the strength, power, balance, agility, and recovery are the pillars for the highest level of athletic performance. Even the the Liberty and the Victory kind of the same. It's just a different impact. However, both of them have better to solve redundancy, okay, or any supplements and medications absorptions as well. Now, I got so many times the question that's like, well, yeah, but Victory it's only for athletes. Is it says on the package? No. Anybody who were at the retreat, we were talking about it, okay? That, and anybody who's not, I will repeat it, that it does not says athlete performance. It says athletic. I will tell you guys one story, and you will understand like when and how else you can recommend victory, not just for athletes. Anybody who knows me very well, like okay, sometimes like the clinic and walks and everything else, then I go home, then I'm gonna get the call from my sister. So
Not everybody knows why you would get a call from McMaster. Please share that.
okay. Okay, because I'm like for McMaster, the reason why, because I'm still on call, because McMaster is the first hospital here in Ontario who's doing QEEG pre-med. Now, because of COVID, instead of the 3 doctors, now it's only 2. Who's the closest one and who knows what means QEG? Sylvia. Plus, Sylvia had a little bit more advanced technology compared to McMaster's, because even like they're not just on like they're not just calling me in when they don't have available doctors. They're calling me in too, because for example, if you will have an accident like a kid and there is metals in any body parts, are they gonna do the diagnostics? This is when Sylvia comes into place. So
You know that Sylvia that wasn't really a real doctor when you went to Joseph Grant.
Yeah. It was before COVID changed a lot. But anyways, so but like like when you get like working at the clinic sometimes 10, 12 hours or even longer, then go home, like not even having a lunch, like dinner, then I got a call, then like sometimes like even within one night, like I had to go back twice. Then like, like, okay, it's 6 o'clock in the morning, I have to go back to the clinic. All right, so sometimes, yes, I'm tired, yes I am. However, even they ask, like a couple of nurses asked me at the McMaster, that was like, how you can do this? I have patch on. So, like the reason why, because like yes, like I have the liberty, like as is for the like everyday performance, and just helping me go through the whole entire day. However, when you will need that edge that you will have to go through, this is when you're adding the victory. Okay, so it does not says athlete performance, it says athletic. What that means that like you will need an extra push to go through.
You need to go through a few overtime periods.
Yes. Now, like when you're gonna go home, when you're gonna take it off, like with the patches, you're gonna be exhausted or beyond exhausted. Yes, because I'm still like like using my own energy resources, but I'm not gonna get into an accident. I'm not gonna crash all at home. But I'm not gonna get into an accident or anything, and I still can mentally and physically perform what I'm supposed to. All right? Is that clear? Okay.
So it's like turbo. It's just taking you over,
Yeah.
what might be your limit otherwise.
Mhm.
You have to
Did you say you take it off then? Come home after?
Yes. Even athletes, like even the like you know, like they're training with liberty. They're using victory only when they're competing or they're going for game or something. Yep.
And that's a
Now,
great-
even
And just because you shared that at the Woods Retreat, that's such a great life analogy too, because like I said, here, like my husband does custodial type work, so he's labor. After that particular day of retreat, he was helping shove a problem. And so like that was a victory moment. He didn't have it then happen another time, but that understanding of training, competing, put it into our day-to-day life. Sorry.
so like that's why I said it's like you don't have to recommend victory only for athletes. Like even in the daily life, you can use it.
I didn't even notice, to be honest with you, being me, I didn't even notice that athletic as opposed to athlete. Just a few little words, I didn't notice, I just saw athlete performance. And it's
But that's
not.
why I said it's like
Yeah.
it does
Some
not
things
say
that needs to be pointed out very clearly, it makes a whole different meaning to the words.
Yep.
Yeah.
And a whole different application of the text.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
But Sylvia, I don't quite get. Like, so somebody wouldn't, why wouldn't they just do the victory? Is it too powerful?
Big yes.
It is. Okay. Not everybody
Like
can
every
run at
single
high speed.
day.
But not all of us in here could run on a high speed level, like what's Dr. Sell running home and then running out to McMack and then coming home and then going into work. Not everybody could do that and wouldn't burn out in the morning. Whereas you put something like that on somebody like myself or I could do it and then that would carry me through. Whereas maybe Michelle would just kind of crash a bit and it wouldn't make her sick. Her body would respond totally different.
Now that's one thing. The other thing, if you're gonna wear victory every single day, and other than burnout, what you're gonna wear when you will need an extra.
We need victory.
When you will need victory. Unless if somebody's really sick or recovering or like certain conditions, victory could have for them like using it daily, but don't do it. Okay.
Isn't it sort of like the idea that when you need adrenaline, you want it for that push, but then you don't want to have adrenaline all the time?
That's correct.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's correct.
That's a better way of
Yep.
putting it.
And is that what it's doing? It's increasing adrenaline or?
No.
I just meant it as an analogy.
No, just use as an analogy. No. Any questions?
Taking it up a notch, that's all we need to
Yep.
really work.
Yep.
Stop trying to be the doctor. Dial it down over there. I haven't sold a victory yet. Well, you haven't gone to the gym. You haven't gone to the front fifties or, oh gosh. no.
Or that.
Yep. All right, next.
Jim's dressing room.
Mine.
REM, the REM sleep like never before. Healthy sleep assists in rejuvenation of the mind and body, and it is a key factor in a healthy lifestyle. Like what this means that may support a balanced sleep cycle, making it easier for the body to maintain overall health. Overall health, we were already talking about it. I know it was in the morning. I know, got it. Now, the other things like wise may saying that for the body to maintain overall health, because what we never really talk about, everybody's like, I know, REM sleep, like the REM patches, like, because I'm gonna go to sleep. All right. What's gonna happen when you're sleeping? I know you're not trained for that, but I did. It's like, no. No. It's like, that's why I said, it's like, okay, so that's why we are training today, guys, okay? Because, yes, I've been trained for that. So what's happening when you, like, you reach the REM state? Physiologically, it is opens up the lymph system of the brains, okay? The lymph system is the lymphatic system of the brain. Me, I know.
So, sorry, are you saying lymph system?
Lymph system,
With a G.
yes, lymph system, guys, listen to me, write it down,
Oh, glymph?
lymph. No, it's not my accent.
Thought it was in the spelling.
So, we have the lymph or lymphatic system,
Okay,
neck down,
okay.
which is connected into the lymph, like shorter version of the lymphatic system. It's the brain. It is called the lymph system. All right. Now, the lymph system did not or do not opens up until when you reach the REM sleep.
Wow, that is unreal.
Right? So, healthcare workers like me. Then, a few months later, collapse. Why?
Your system's not draining. We talked about.
Exactly. So like when I hear from so many people that REM patches that just if somebody has sleeping issues, wrong. It's more than the sleeping issues. Right?
Too long.
Yes.
I wore one and I slept for like 13 hours.
Yep.
You needed it.
Yeah, you need it. You need it because, for example, we have kids with brain injuries, with viruses, bacteria, any other pathogens, even in the brain. They went through so many different healthcare practitioners or institutes prior to us. Then they came to see me and I was like, yeah, okay. And I seen you two years ago, and the kid, instead of improving, was getting worse. Because even 2 years ago, I told the parents where the REMs. They left the clinic because they saw that I lost my mind. No, because the kid is sleeping. Yes, but the brain is sleeping like properly. Why? Okay. So, what is going to be your next, like other than liberty, which is the next, one of the most important patches? Patch. Right? RAM. Okay? Because any toxic material, like or the viruses, or even their waste materials, anything what is accumulated in the brain, like even before, if your lymph system is not opening up for whatever reason, guess what?
So you wanna hit that REM sleep,
Yep.
you wanna hit that
Yep.
deep sleep
Yep.
cycle.
And that's why I said that, like, the lymph system for the brain's detoxification processes, right? Because without that detoxification processes, there is no healing. And there is no healing if you are not sleeping neither. Okay?
So hypothetically, if you think 3 to 4 hours a night, and they read around, and you still sleep 4 hours a night, they're still benefiting because they're at least getting a
Correct,
50% people.
correct, yep, yes.
I know
So,
that.
you don't release the lab,
Yeah.
system until you're in REM sleep, which in REM sleep, you can know when you breathe.
Yeah.
You may not remember that. It's very hard to know, like you might go, oh, I'm asleep, but you put an Oura ring on, you have no deep sleep at all. And that's also when you make your hormones and things like that.
Yeah.
So my question is, if you're getting REM sleep, does that mean that your limbic system is open? I know, like, you're not getting it, you're not. But if you are, does that definitively mean it is open? Or is there at least something else? I know it's not possible.
Okay, it's, again, the answer, maybe not. The reason why, because without, without the actual diagnostic tools, like when they're sleeping or not, they may reach the REM sleep without the patch. Do I know?
And for how long? That's the other thing.
And for how long? There is new apps out there, guys, like Apple Watch, and some of those, I don't even know how many apps. Yeah. They can, how accurate are they? I don't know. Like some of them is like I don't know about that part, but that's fine. We're not quite sure because I've seen even like the same patients, brain mappings or even the AO scan results. So like sometimes like those apps, like, however, if somebody really wants to know, like even approximately that they're reaching the REM sleep or not without the REM patches, it's easy. Like, just use one of those wearables. Now, REM patch, you put it on before you go to bed and take it off when you wake up. This is when I used to say, the analogy that this is your sleeping pill in apostrophe, okay? Because you are not taking it constantly, you're just using it when you need it, okay? Any questions? Yes.
So, I work for an airline.
Yep.
And so sometimes I'll get like 2 hours sleep. And then I'll be up for 4 hours and go back to sleep. 2 different patches or leave it on or.
That's a tough one.
I used to say try it.
Yeah, I've done both.
No. The reason why, because like as you said that you're sleeping like maybe 2 hours off because just how you do your jobs. If you can handle your jobs without like taking it off, and you go back to sleep, yeah, because this is what we used to do anyways.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to change the patch because the impact is still there. But and that's why I said, because this is what like your whole entire life, this is what we used to do. Okay, like 2 hours sleep, I was like, well, see you guys back 2 hours later or 3 hours later, then another 2 hours to sleep. So like that's your almost like normal circadian rhythm, unfortunately. But if you can handle both ways, yeah. Any other questions?
Yeah, so they used to work well with the REM or on the link of deep sleep than the REM. Like even though they called it REM, they used to talk more about the deep sleep. So is that kind of not as important at this point?
REM doesn't happen without deep sleep. Are we clear? The next one is the difference, the old Neurovax. Protect your health like never before. The old Neurovax replacement. And again, the healthy immune system is a key factor, as well as we all know. The different patch is a non-invasive and drug-free technology that may support immunity through vibrotactile stimulation. We saw the video, right? Because like the result of the next question is, what's vibrotactile stimulation? Vibrotactile stimulation, any other words, how strong push you will need to create that energy, if you remember back for the video.
Yes.
Right? Now, immune system is an immune system. That's clear. Like almost all of us, right? But what I mean that healing processes. You go for a surgery. What you will need? A faster recovery without infection and inflammation and any internal scar tissue proliferation. Your own body can do it, but you will need to send the signals. Okay? Any other way, like, like why defense, like, do anybody has allergies? What's happened without the defense?
I haven't had a reactant in over 2 years.
Yep,
Not
there
at
you
all.
go.
At all.
Yep. So that's because some people said, it's like, oh, my immune system is perfectly fine. I just have allergies. I was like, really?
It's perfect.
Like, good for you. Yeah. So, and like, I still don't know the difference because the same thing happened with my allergies. So like, sometimes you will have to top it, like I still have to use this cetirizine, but most of the time, not. Now, sometimes when somebody comes to me with sleeping issues, and I'm telling them that it's like, okay, like even with the brain mapping and everything, it's like, okay, are you fall asleep easily, but you cannot stay in sleep, or the other way? So like there is so many different questions. However, and instead of beside the REM, I'm gonna give them defense, and they're looking at me as word. Really? I was like, my immune system is fine. Yeah. I was one of the best example. You can like even just how I used to, same as Evelyn, like how I used to live, like like after university, running around, everything else, like our circadian rhythms is completely upsided. Then the doctors tried to make me sleep, so like it is sleeping pills, natural sleeping agents, everything else. Nope. So many people said, it's like, okay, try the REM patch. Made it worse. Like, I mean, worse like means nightmares, and like every single muscle of mine was like, yeah, like this. Hold on. I have to put the defense patch, or in that time, the Neurovax on. Then I was perfectly fine. I'm still perfectly fine. However, why? So like so many times, if you will have a client who's telling you that, oh, the REM patch doesn't work for them, well, try to add the difference, because without a proper diagnosis or even knowing the conditions, and as we were talking about earlier with Lori, I know that the difference or the old Neurovax, how is impacting the serotonin pathway. Okay. Now, serotonin is the precursor for melatonin. Oops.
Did you understand her Hungarian? Serotonin is two neurotransmitters. We did some neurotransmission testing, Sil and I, with the neurovets. And that's why I keep good gut ecology, good probiotics, so the gut is healthy, so that all those other, dominoes can fall when it comes time to go to sleep. So the first experience I had with the REM patch, for 2 nights, I was wide awake in full body paralysis. Like I couldn't move anything, and I was like, everything shut off, but my mind won't shut off. The 3rd night, I was in Middle Earth, and I have never, I dreamed in colors I don't think exist. You know that, have anyone ever seen Avatar? That's what it was like.
Lori is dreaming in overturn.
I was that blue girl.
But just an extra note, hint, even for you to be able to have your customers better. So if they will say that the REM patch is not working, yes, it does. Just maybe again, at the biochemistry level, we will need a little bit of it. And we can do it without adding any other extra chemicals. Okay?
Well, I think that was just my adjustment period.
Yes, it could be, but that's why I said they can try it, but instead of throwing them back, this is not working. If at least they're prepared that okay, this is maybe another addition that what they will need to, or what they will need to do. Okay.
But to support your point, so I was wearing the neurovaccs as well.
Mhm.
So they worked in tandem, which is very interesting because without you sharing that today, the average associate would not know that.
Yeah. Yep. Yes.
So just to repeat, in your head, so that biochemistry tweak with the defense, the serotonin pathways.
That's correct. No. Serotonin. It's impacting the serotonin pathway.
Pathways, yeah.
Serotonin is the precursor for melatonin. Not the serotonin pathway. The serotonin
itself. Yeah.
itself. Are we good? Freedom. If you guys can see this, the whole almost the line that everything is linked into sleeping, and we still keep going. At the meantime, we are impacting different pathways. Now, freedom is your painkiller. I would say pain management in the proper way.
Yeah.
Why? Because it's not masking the pain. It is dealing differently, neutralizing and optimizing the neuromatrix of the pain. What is the neuromatrix of the pain? We are not opening up that today. One day I will. Okay, no, I promise, guys. One day I will teach you and I will train you what's the neuromatrix of the pain. You don't have to know it today, all right? However, almost every different type of pain will react or dispatch. It doesn't necessarily mean that and that's why I'm not using painkiller. It's not necessarily completely diminishing the pain, but it is reducing it. Okay? Where it's like, no, okay, it's manageable, I can do that. Now, if somebody in constant pain and they cannot sleep, what's gonna happen? What you gonna recommend for take Advil? Well, for how long? Okay? Because again, back to the feedback, the feedback loop. If they're in pain, if they are not sleeping properly, do you remember the lymph system is not opening and the healing is not happening? Means that the pain is just keep going, like keep existing continually. Okay? Are we good? Where are you gonna put the pain patch?
Where the pain is close to the rim.
As much as possible close to it. If you can, like exactly where is the pain, you put it on the pain. However, if not, as much as possible, like the closest points to the pain. Yes. Yes and no. Cancer pain, like that's why I said like any type of pain. Cancer pain or radiation burns or anything else, yes. However, how much? Like that's why I said it is not a painkiller. Okay, it is not opioid. You still don't like not you. I'm sorry. Like the patient doesn't necessarily, or your client doesn't necessarily means that the pain is gone, but they will be able to manage it. Okay.
So
Right.
somebody, like my goalie, fractured ribs last weekend. This week, I just talked to her last night and she said she'd rather give birth than live with how she's lived with this week. Now I have the socks on her. Would I suggest using the Freedom and the REM? Because she's obviously not sleeping. And it would actually help tolerate the pain while the healing process is happening.
Right.
Okay. Okay, I get it now.
If we also bring down the anxiety levels, then perception of pain, outer pressure, they negative on the habit.
She has anxiety too. Naturally, she has anxiety as well, so that would be a good factor what you just said. Okay.
They segue into these incidents.
Any questions about freedom? Any other questions about freedom? Are we good?
We're good.
Peace. Yes, I got it. My phone and school, so I can do that. But deal with stress like never before. Here's Tracy and Lori who can talk about the newest project.
Yeah.
And why did we start? Like not we, I wasn't there. Sorry, that's them. And why and what this means stress. Okay? Because so many times, like so many people said is like, yeah, but I'm not anxious. I go, okay, yeah. Like I know your job. Like probably your cortisol level already through the roof. But because they already get used to that level. Okay. So when you're talking, like when I'm asking from them, like, are you dealing with, like, are you okay, or are you like, do you have any stress? Oh no, I was like, I'm good. Okay. or they got burned out and the cortisol level is or not even exist, either or way. So like when we're talking about stress, and some people will tell you that like, oh no, I don't I'm fine. Hmm, sure. Like I still will try the peace patch adding into that one. Now, why did I said another sleeping aid? I just cortisol. Somebody like who's like you know the term like their mind is racing,
Yeah.
and that's why they cannot fall asleep. Okay, no problem. Add the peace. Plus, because like then it's a different way of the serotonin pathway. Like it's uptakes, intakes, everything else. We are not going there. I'm not gonna teach you guys about it or the differentiation. Try. Okay. If somebody says that I would love to sleep, but I cannot fall asleep, why? Oh, because like I was thinking what's happened today and what else do I have to do tomorrow, and my whole entire week is in front of me. Like, oh, okay, calm down. Okay. So, use the peace. Now, I'm gonna give the microphone to Tracy and Lori, and they're gonna explain a little bit about your like about what is the peace project.
Sure. After you, Trace.
After you.
Yes.
Hey, my tail.
Lori's showing up. I love one of the things I want to come up with. I have no idea, I didn't know she's having Mike, but I will say one thing that has come out of these peace projects, who really comes from Candy Scott, and this initiative of what if you didn't have to live with the level of stress you have? And one of the pieces, no, you come. That's why I have a peace project. But one of the things that come out of that conversation is that we don't always recognize.
You're supposed to go to
Yeah,
body
you're
side.
early.
We didn't rehearse.
You didn't know. We don't always recognize the level of the lack of peace that we live with. And really, I'm loving, I've got big letters in here when you're talking about sleep too, because I'm a strong believer that we are designed to operate from a place of rest. And we have a world that tells us go. And so what does it really mean neurologically, physiologically, emotionally, however you want to define that, always pursuing peace. So this isn't the peace project as much, so you just push play, right? But one of the things, so when Jay first said, and I'm totally going on up here, but when Jay first said there's new patches coming, the peace patch was the one that
Closer, the microphone.
the peace
closer.
patch was something that I said, I think that's the one I want to give a go. And I think there's something really important to be said to what are you drawn to? Like what goes, So one of the things that I know is that, like I was wearing the HPT for 3 years without a lot of the wow. I put on the sleeve and it was wow. And so I was really curious about the 3 patches that kind of grow out of that. But one of the things I did know that drew me to the peace patch is that I would wake up, and neurologically my brain mapping shows within that like an anxiety within there. So I would wake up and have to kind of come to a quiet place and choose peace. Like I would find that place of peace in order to enter into my day. So the thought of having it on 24/7, so I didn't have to wake up into that place, has been really significant. And so I think one of the things about the peace patch is that even when you're choosing peace, it makes peace easier. It makes the choice easier. And so Candy and Lori were like my experimentation text messaging through all 3 of them. But one of the things, because I've always chosen peace, I don't know I expected the kind of impact that I had. So yes, emotionally, but what I particularly noticed, I'm gonna have to talk with my hands to it. But what I particularly noticed,
them. But what I particularly noticed was the physiological impact of putting on the piece patch, because I love my sleeves, but I work in customer service. I'm an office admin. There are a lot of high stress moments that can come out of nowhere when the phone rings. And I know my heart rate's slower. My sister, who used to work with me in the office, has gone past the offices in their home. She's gone past and heard me on those phone calls and said, Tracy, you talk more slowly, which you would not guess now, but you know, those intense situations, you know, we pick up speed instead of rest and engage. And then even tension, I didn't know I was carrying. So like like, you know, we know there's places we carry tension, but when I started wearing the piece patch, I felt like the loosening across here. Like I could tell you things that are literally a pain in my neck. Literally, or words that power, but feeling like it opened up across. And so the piece patch invitation, and like this is kudos really to Candy Scott again, right?
Ooh.
And then Lori and the conversations and her people out there, to just an invite to experience, as opposed to just have that head knowledge. Is that kind of the mic came to me first?
Yes, totally. That's absolutely awesome. We have a little group called the Women of Vox Life, and it's got a big membership, and we have a Zoom call once a week, and some of us are able to join at that time, Thursdays at 11 a.m. Eastern time, and some of us catch the recordings. And it was born out of credit to Krista Taylor, honestly, because Krista nudged me to say, could you do what you're designed to do? And I didn't know that I was designed to do what I'm doing with that group, but I knew that my passion was people and connection. And especially I believed that my brother Terry and I come together as kind of a dovetail. And that we didn't choose this role, it kind of chose us, but it's a good fit, and it becomes more and more of a comfortable slipper the more we go down the road together in it. But the ladies kind of do things a little bit different, in the sense of the ladies love to share and emote and plan together and chat at length. Our calls always go over, always. And then, you know, the recordings go up for the ladies that miss the calls. And if you're able to partake of them, great. And if not, like catch us the next time around kind of thing. I met Candy Scott in Vegas, and I don't know what it was, but Candy is a very intuitive person. She lives out west and is part of the group. And I was after her to, you know, use her talents like Krista was after me. And she said, I will, but it has to be something I feel really deep. And so it was at least months before Candy said, can we talk? And so her idea was to invite the women who were part of the group and have it start small, invite them to participate in our little project. It was more gentle than, you know, a call to action. You were just invited to try this new product and then journal and then share. And I thought it was brilliant because, you know, when we're told to do something, what happens? We kind of resist, right? So if we're invited to do something and then help the overall mission, then we're more inclined. So, I mean, we have started with the Women of Vox Life, but we want to expand it out. And it started with a little bit of a plan to have guests from out west that we hadn't had on before. And these three guests, Dr. Vicki Smith, who is a PhD in neuroscience. There was Susan Wren, and there was a teammate called Noah Peacock. And all of these ladies were personal connections to Candy. So Candy's brainchild. But for 3-4 weeks now, we've applied the Peace Patch personally and swap stories about what's happened. Now, Dr. Vicky Smith is a cancer survivor. She's agreed to be a guest on our team training some night. A brilliant lady, rivals Sil for training and knowledge. Susan Wren is one of our teammates who is in the throes of cancer treatment right now. So you can imagine Dr. Vicky Smith is post-treatment, and on our call on Thursday, she told us she just got kicked out of the program. She's 5 years clear. So that was a big woo for her. Susan's in the throes of it. You can imagine being in the throes of it, what a peace patch could potentially do for you. And Nola, it was, Candy lost a son to leukemia when he was 25. He had a manifestation of the disease when he was young, 10-ish, I think. And then it revisited when he was 25. But Nola was his nurse initially when he was diagnosed and had such a battle with neuropathy and that sort of thing. So the Peace Patch Project has brought all of these ladies together who have had experiences that might cause PTSD or just struggle in general. Something I heard the other day that I thought was really good. Just because we've had a struggle and survived it does not necessarily mean that we're not being impacted by it still today. And so what would be the harm in throwing on a peace patch? And so the stories are really exciting. So we invite all of you here. And at some point when Terry opens up the calendar, we're going to have some of those ladies come and talk on a Monday night about the Peace Patch Project. And very simply, it's like, would you consider wearing a peace patch for 30 days and keeping track of, what happens? Listen, when this event derailed, or so we thought, when Darlene got sick, like, I was driving down here singing, it's going to be okay, we're going to be fine. And we were, and
We are.
can I quote Heather Lemke? Does everybody know who Heather Lemke is? Heather
No,
Ignore?
who is she?
Which quote? Oh. Heather was going for an appointment, a medical appointment, and she was stressing a little bit. And she hadn't, up to that point, been wearing a peace patch until we said, "Come on, be part of this peace train," kind of thing. So she sent me a message right before going to the doctors, and I'm gonna throw her under the bus right now. She said to me, "Hey," through Messenger, "these peace patches really work. I feel like I've just smoked a joint." I said, "Tracy, how does she know how that feels?" Right. That's my little share.
So I want to invite you to consider, what does peace look like, or the lack of peace look like in your world? Because I don't think we stop and look at it. So is peace, like, how do you feel when someone cuts you off in traffic, or you're simply in traffic? Do you ever have moments in a significant relationship where you need a little bit of pause before you say the thing that you hadn't said?
Yeah.
As peace. Do you look at your circumstances and need a little bit of perspective? Do you ever feel like you're in the middle of something? And like, I have a very particular peace patch lady who has been my experience with the whole story, where you just kind of need to be able to, because she was causing my need for the patch, where you just kind of need to be able to take a step back so you've got a little bit more perspective. So I love that challenge. What does peace, or the lack of it, look like for you? And what might happen if you gave yourself permission to have a month where you just tried to see what peace is? It's an aid, it's never the answer, but it is.
And this idea of peace, Dr. Vicky Smith touched on with us, because she said people who have chronic pain have PTSD and chronic PTSD. So throw a peace patch into the mix, and that feedback loop might just course correct a little bit. So that was an angle we had never even thought of. But honestly, folks, we have a wealth of experience and expertise and stories amongst us. And so, like, get on the train and, join us in the Peace Patch Project, and whatever else evolves out of this. We're talking about maybe a little brain pain summit, we might call it.
for mental health coming in the new year. So stay tuned and, I'll hand it back over to the boss.
Grab your chair, Lord.
Oh, yeah, that's yours.
Okay, grab your chair. Okay, so any question about the pitch patch?
No.
Okay, so like the train of the sleeping patterns and sleeping impact, basically we are finished here. We are stepping over for focus. Focus, flow, and so many other things, it's still coming. So focus basically used to study like never before. It is like, you're focusing on something. Bye guys, thank you for coming in. Bye. You're playing, learning, and creating. All right, this is focus. Not when you're jumping from one project to the other. I mean, some people can do that, but even with focus. So distractions and challenges, focusing can take the fun and the performance out of what we want to do in school or elsewhere. Why, guys? I don't want to talk about too many cases, but basically, there is more than a few kids in my practice as a patient who is being told that you're just gonna go in the end of the classroom, you sit there because the kid is constantly this or moving to be able to focus or to do certain other things, and the other kids and the teacher feel like that they are distracting the class. So this is when usually I used to say like, okay, this is absolutely not right. And towards that kid, I used to call this, the school's bullying, because it is. The reason why, because they're not gonna even take the time to even looking into that kid. That is like why that kid is doing it. Like they already stamped that ADD, ADHD, or who knows what else, what the teacher's diagnosis will be. And usually I used to say like, I was like, but since when we went to the same school? But that's reality. This is what's happening. Teachers giving these kids basically diagnosis. Now, I had not one or two kids who start using these new patches. One of them born with okay, so like that's the story about the focus and the
Flow.
Yeah, we are off the bunch. So there is one kid in my practice who born with brain injuries, like forceps injuries. The kid is 7 years old. Basically, in the beginning, when they brought him into my practice, like literally 3 adults was like chasing him around in the whole entire clinic just to be able to do the treatment. He's not aggressive or anything. Like he like for him, it was fun. I'm like, okay, but how are we gonna do the treatment, because the kid has to stay on the bed for at least for 45 minutes. Never mind the new equipment. So like, okay, but so the kid progress was up and down. Without these patches, okay?
What patches? So?
The flow. So, so anyways, the kid was getting better, but not not with the high speed. So now the same kid is like, okay, can I just try something? And of course, like if he, like, this is what he was doing in the clinic, can you imagine in the school, at school? Or running away, or so many things. Okay, so like, new patches, Sylvia's thinking, like, okay, I want to see which one is he gonna get a better reaction from, the flu or for the focus. Okay, let's try, like, just the flu first. Put the patch on. Let's go for treatment. The kid is coming out from treatment. Goes to his dad. Is like, Dad, can you please put my hoodies on? Is that the same kid who we were just chasing? Now, at the same token, the dad is coming in, bringing the girls with him as well, because, it is a family. And like until when we try to deal with the kid, the brother, the father was complaining. That is like okay, like I really had it. The reason why, because like, okay, he's getting better, but now school started and there is one of the twins and she cannot see it even from the first row of the classes. And I will have to take her to the ophthalmologist.
Eye doctor.
Eye doctor. And in the meantime, I'm looking at her, I'm like, I'm not quite sure about that part. Like, you can take her to the eye doctor, but it is gonna be probably pointless. Like, can I talk to her? You can do whatever what you want with that.
Parents are exhausted with kids.
Yes, that's the reason. So there is a little girl reading. I can read that. You guys cannot see, but this is normal. Okay? Upside down. Okay. Can you tell me, like, do you know at least letters? Oh yeah. Can you tell me or show me, where do you see? What do you see? What else? Long story short, guys, I was like, okay, it is the patch, focus. And can I come back and talk to you when we finish your brother's treatment? Sure. Okay. The next thing, the magazine is in normal position. And she's doing, instead of this, reading. So the optometrist, what we will do with brain? Nothing. So again, with any of these ones, so like when we're talking about focus, like think about it, even eye movement and the connections between your eyes and the brain. Okay, and even like kids, no kids, how hard is that to try?
Yeah.
Okay, how hard is that to try? Is that worth it? Like just like, okay, let's do some experience. Okay, so however, focus is like usually when somebody's jumping from one subject to the other. Are we clear? Flow. Why I said like one of the most important cross, versatile patch. The reason why, because we were talking about that it is improves attention, clarity, calmness. On the top of or on the top of even the energy or even happiness. So I want like it's like one like so many times like somebody said that, oh, this is one of the most important, the most versatile patch. When I'm talking about most versatile, if you remember back that you know that one of those funky words what nobody knows in this room, most versatile, it's impacting more different pathways. Not just one, more. All right? Are we good? Any questions? Are we good? Awesome. Here is the new one, the Ignite. Balancing calories consumed and calories burned and a key factor for maintaining healthy weight. These patch guys do not replace requirements of the healthy diet and exercise. And no, if you're gonna put more patch on, you're not gonna burn more calories. This is not how it works. Okay.
No, you're not.
You are not in the morning, somebody is with messenger. So if I'm gonna I heard on the training call that it is about burning 500 calories a day, but I'm gonna lose weight more faster. So like if I'm gonna put more patches on, I'm gonna lose more weight faster. Like no, it's still gonna be 500 calories. Now, the secret with the Ignite, when we're talking about RMR, resting metabolic rate, is increased 28%. What is the secret to lose more or burning more calories with Ignite? Put it on when you're exercising. Even with breathing exercises, you're gonna burn more. Right? It doesn't necessarily mean cardio or anything else. Breathing, because with RMR, you burn fat a lot faster than so many times cardio. This is RMR.
Resting metabolic rate.
Correct. Okay, so don't put the whole bag on you, because the whole bag on you is because it's still not gonna be better. But when you're gonna put the patch on and even do deep breathing exercises or yoga or something like that, you will burn more calories with the Ignite patch than if you were running. I don't want to know plus minuses, but even with these gentle exercises, you will burn more. Are we clear?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Yeah, that's the enhanced meta patch. Do you remember, guys, the meta patch was too huge. Now it's small. And
Yeah, so it's enhancement is in the same way as all the other enhancements.
Yes.
In terms of size. You mentioned different adhesions too, but.
Well, yes, and even what's the changes in the pattern? I don't know. Maybe not, but when when we're talking about enhancement, compared to that double-sided, really big material, that's definitely an enhancement. What's the enhancement? before RMR with the metal patch was 20%, right now it's 28.
And now this is something.
Okay, so we're gonna go and talk about so many more frequently asked questions, and we can have a break, like a question, like a 10 minutes question break. Okay, guys, and when we be back, like if you have any more questions, then we still can talk about it, and we're gonna talk about more frequently asked questions. All right. So right now, so Lori,
Very show a name.
doesn't
You're gonna
You
find
have to
more
be
of them?
here to win this.
you have to be here to win this.
All of you guys win.
And you're gonna pay for that.
Okay. Let's
Sounds
go
like
for
a
the lucky
job.
one.
The lucky one.
Is there two here? Or is that just one piece? That's all one piece, right?
It's a long one.
Evelyn Porlacker.
There you go.
That's exciting.
Very exciting.
I just need a garbage
What are you looking for?
to empty this one.
Oh, you wanna-
Just make sure Evelyn Porlacker's name's not in there 15 times.
Yeah. No, the other 14 are Michelle. Oh my God. Am I leaving all you for the next one? Am I leaving all these in for the next
No,
one?
no, because that one, it has to be dumped out.
Okay. Yeah, very exciting. I had it done and then phone call because Sylvia has such a fine Canadian accent and because I don't pay attention. My girlfriend who takes notes very, very well, as we listen to the phone call, the follow-up, I'll just put notes and then make a whole note on it and I have a whole, so I understand. Which is really important when you're having that follow-up, because you're listening to her and you may not pay attention. Yeah, just a piece of advice. It really made a good perspective with that paper. And have to sit down and do it. That's awesome. You have to pay attention to her. Like, she don't ask you
Okay. Okay, so the question, and the advice, when you're coming to see me for EO scan or brain mapping. Most of people, what they used to do, like you go to the doctor and they give you like a quarter page or 2-sentence diagnosis. This is what you have. Okay, when you're coming and see me, like information overload. And like I know that it could be confusing. Now, even for me, I had to learn. And now I'm asking my patients like, do you want to simplify it or do you want to know everything? No, seriously. Because like some people like just lost. When we're talking about brain mapping results, we are talking about over 100-page results. And that's why I said, is like you go for an MRI, it's like, yeah, like maybe there is one spot, like there is one with size, and that's it. Compared to this one that like I will tell you everything. Right? So for some people it's overwhelming. For some people, like some people is like, you just tell me that what's happening? Like, do I gonna survive this one or not? Or do I have cancer or not? Or what's going on? Like, well, that's not that simple. But I can like simplify. Some people complain that like it is was too complex. I can give you the sentence, like as the doctors, are you gonna be happy with that? Maybe not, but it's still too complex. I don't understand what you were saying, even with the written and with the written summary results. Like, well, have you trained in the same school as I did? Or do you understand when you got the results from X-ray or anything else? No. Okay, then why you're complaining that you don't understand this? It's just a lot more complex. That's it. The reason why, because so many times one condition leads into another. It doesn't mean that, like usually I used to say like, okay, I need to know what's the cause, because I'm not masking the problems, I'm reversing it. Yes, it takes longer, sometimes more painful, but I'm not just like, you know, I mean, I can, if I really wanted to give you a pill that you will feel like better, like you will feel happy, but that's not the case. That's not the question. That's not what this is not what I'm doing, right? If usually I'm getting a little bit more socially awkward lately, usually I used to say like, well, if you want that, go and see your family doctor.
When you tell them your symptoms, they write you a script and it's fine.
Yep.
Well, that's not.
Okay. Okay. So
Thanks for coming back, Sylvia.
for the Christmas package, who's not here, who will bought tickets, but they are not here in person.
So the one that's in there.
That's right.
This is for the surprise.
Who's there?
For you.
We can ask Leslie, please.
We're calling it the first date.
This one. Brenda Fisher.
Brenda Fusher, F-U-S-H-E-R.
Yeah.
I'm gonna Google her. I don't know her.
I don't know if it's Brenda Fisher or Brenda Fisher.
Yeah, maybe. F-U-S-H-E-R.
That's okay. We have the email, we have her email address, and we're gonna contact with her.
Thank you.
That's cool. Thank you. Okay. For both of you. So last session. Then all of us will be free to go. Why we are not diagnosed or treated? The reason why, because even as I have even as a practitioner, so some people come to me and never mind come to me. They are texting me that, oh, my client have these and these conditions. Which one shall I give it to them? Oh. And they just like, what do you mean that you don't know? It's like, first of all, I never seen that patient. Somebody gave that diagnosis. It wasn't me. Okay? It's maybe not. So if I cannot see that person, and if I cannot my diagnosis and confirm that really has this and this and this, I don't know. That's one thing. The other thing, if I don't know, how you guys will know? Somebody goes to you and like, I have this and this and this condition. And you just like, sure. You are not trained for that. That's okay. Don't panic. Ask back. What do you feel? how do you feel? Okay? Because with the patches, and of course, like me and even the medical teams, we cannot even, or especially over the phone, diagnose everybody or giving everybody advice that, well, it's maybe this is the condition, like, look, let's try this. No, you guys have to learn this. Treat the conditions, not the conditions, as the symptoms. Ask back. Don't be afraid. Ask back from them, what do you feel? Do you have pain? Where is the pain? Or are you sleeping? How are you sleeping? Do you fall in sleep or wake up? Or you cannot fall? I think it's the battery is gone.
Uh-oh.
I have a new battery.
Uh-oh.
Oops.
Oh, no, you just moved the button. That's.
Oh.
No, okay, it's really close. Okay, really close. All right, so ask your. I did not touch the button now. Okay. Yeah. So, like, don't be afraid. Ask from your customers or your family members or anything. What do you feel? And ask them thoroughly and write down what they are experiencing. You don't have to remember, okay? Write down, even on a piece of paper, what are they telling you? What they will feeling. When you read it back, you will, like, you know the patches. You are the expert, not them. You are the expert because you learned the patches. Like, okay, so symptoms number 1, 2, 3. Like, even you can regroup them or grouping them. When you've done it, you can even tell them, like, okay, patch number 1, patch number 2, patch number 3. Okay? We are not treating and diagnosing. And that's why I said, like, that was the other purpose for this training, because I said, like, if I gonna hear one more question that so and so has this and this and this, what can we do for them? I don't know. Honest. If they are my client and I've done the diagnosis, that's a completely different scenario.
So when you ask what are they experiencing, you're helping them with that.
That's correct.
Something that they
That's
told
correct.
you their experience.
Yes.
Yeah, it's smart.
Just simplify it, okay?
Yeah.
Like, simplify it, like, okay, you just have to listen to them and write it down, because I used to remember for everything, like what my client, like a conversation between my clients and me, I used to remember, write it down. All right, because even I'm getting older, so no, just because not everybody in the same industry and remember, okay? But the other reason why, because when you write it down and regroup it, it's right in front of you. You don't have to try to remember that. It is right there. And you can regroup it. It's like, okay, this one, or sleeping, not sleeping, anything else, like you can give them. Like some suggestions or recommendation. Yes.
So say, if you also wrote the date on it, then later on, down the road, like say a month from now, you could say, so how are your knees doing now? Are you able to climb the stairs? And
Yeah.
you know, whatever
Yeah.
things they were complaining on, you can
Yes.
ask them, how are those things working? And then you can say, see how things have changed.
Yes, that's right. That's a really good point. That's another point. Like, where they coming back and they will say, like, not necessarily saying that, oh, it's not working.
Yeah.
Okay, can you answer it back to me? Like, as just you said, it's like, how about this? How about that? Then so many times with those questions, you're the one who's giving them back the answers and the realization that is like, oh,
Yes.
actually, it does work.
And she
Right.
just made the point, she said, and sometimes other people make observations.
Yes,
If
yeah.
your fuse isn't as short, or, seem a little bit more. Be around. That's very inspiring. Jen Moyer talked about not, grinding the teeth anymore.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Tracy, you can say seashells.
Yeah, no, the piece one, but yeah, I had a very, just
Yeah.
sure. Okay, so I had a speech impediment, like grade 1 kindergarten, so the sounds were really hard, so I could never do the shells one. And I was just working in the office one day, and I said something, and I just said cedar shake shingles. And I just paused, I went, cedar shake shingles, cedar shake shingles. I've been going, I can say cedar shake shingles. I don't know quite where that lands yet. But that thing, like there was never a physiological issue. I just had to really work and pay a lot of attention. This is a and it was just practice, but without anything changing other than what I'm stuck on my house. I kept going, and I can tell when I'm tired, it's harder, which is fascinating too, but she's like, that is creepy.
I know. So, how many times, next question, how many times did you guys heard that, oh, was working for someone else, but it's not working? It's not working for me. How many times did you guys heard it? Well, first of all, if you will have that journey, is that you can ask back, number one. Number two, I used to say that, are you sure that you will have exactly the same problem and exactly the same healing journey and stage as someone else? Because you don't know, because just because someone has said like arthritis and arthritis, yeah, like you could, like for example, you could develop. I'm just saying, it's not necessarily medically correct, but like you start arthritis yesterday, or you started arthritis 20 years ago. Yep. So like when it's happening and they're saying like, well, it's not working. Well, it is working. You just don't feel it yet. Okay. There is different techniques and diagnostic tools like what we can use if they really want to see it, but those are usually expensive. Now, the other things, what we heard, how many times that, oh, it's made me worse. How many times did you, like, guys, how many times your customer, like, maybe not a lot, like as much as I did, but like I had more than a few people like, I'm not wearing this one because it's made me worse. All right. The reason why, because it's like what you're experiencing. So they're telling again, like what's the symptoms. Now, usually I used to ask like, do you really think that this is just started because you're wearing the patch a week ago? No, it's just pulled up on the surface. So many things, like just because you don't feel it or you don't have any symptoms yet, it doesn't mean that it is not happening. You just don't know yet. So sometimes when they will make saying that, oh, makes it worse, can you do me a favor? Just keep a little bit longer. The reason why, because all of a sudden they're gonna get better. Right? Or like detox or healing crises could happen. So there is so many different reasons why. No, we are not making patients worse. We are happy. My finger is not even there. So it's not, it doesn't mean, and you can tell them. Now, sometimes if they're really arguing with you, they're like, okay, take it off, good luck,
Lesson release.
lesson release. Or like, you know, like I experienced like watching someone, like one of the associates who tried really, really hard to try to explain to the client like what's happening and please don't do this, please don't do that. It's like, stop. You explained once, the client has such a strong confirmation bias. Like take it up, like let's take it off, like take off and lesson release. Don't like okay, now I'm gonna be socially awkward again. Don't try to teach the thing, teach the thing because they won't, right? So if somebody will say it's not working, and you explain to them like minimally, and if they still don't believe you, all right, good luck for you.
Test. Try that.
Okay. And because like why? Because everybody like and why somebody is all of a sudden like you know like why they're getting a faster and better result than someone else? Same reason. Everyone has their own healing journey, same as their own health history as well. Two of us, like you cannot find exactly two people who has the same health history and the same healing journey. All right. If somebody doesn't understand that and arguing with you, same thing. Goodbye. Okay. Then again, like so many people said that, oh, I went to see this and this and this practitioner and or like try to work with so and so, they're completely refusing it. Why they don't understand what you do know or do understand. And guys, you can send me to the operator like the OR. How is your surgery is gonna come out? That's a big question. The reason why, because every single of us, they're like trained different. Even naturopaths, okay, even between two colleges, what they learn, major difference, not major, but the significant differences. Never mind when we are talking about North America and European trade. Okay, so many times even they try to explain to me something and I was like, this is not how it works, like according to my brain. So because we have the different trainings, some of us understand and accept it, some of them won't. Same thing again, if their confirmation bias, lesson release. Don't try to bring in every single practitioners who you run into because it is just going to cause you more headaches than more help. Next question, allergic reactions. How many times we heard that? Oh, I put the patches on and like rashes all over and this is causing allergic reactions. Okay, usually I used to say like, can you send me a picture? And they just like, why? Because you're telling me over the phone that it is causing rashes. Where? Only under the patch or all over? Or is that those rashes have a different pattern, like a significant pattern or not? Usually people are looking at me is like, what are you talking about? It's like, well, you just told me that you're allergic for the patch. If that's the case, when you take off the patch, you will have like a little bit of red square. Yeah, got it. But when you will see all over or different patterns, that's not allergic reactions. It is bringing up something from the surface. Okay? We can, like, we can talk about viruses, whatever, so many things. It is healing you already. I did not say that it is a pleasant feeling, but that's not allergic reactions. Okay? Sometimes people say like, I'm gonna take it off because I cannot handle the rashes. That's your choice. It's your body, not mine. Or sometimes you can explain to them that please let it push it through because there's a couple more days and your body is gonna start to clear up. Right? Like that's why I said unless if it's that square red. That's other than that, like try to explain to them what's happening. Okay.
And it certainly depends on the rapport you have with the person. I think we all know if we've got somebody that is ego-centered and they just want to be right.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't, ego's a construct and I don't wanna.
But it's also like we've been so indoctrinated, with, you know, oh, Benadryl, boom.
Yeah.
Yep, you know, and that's when we're just like behind, and all these told the fact that food is reactive. It's hard for us to go, no, just let it go.
Oh,
It's,
I've got a story to support that point. So a friend of mine cut his leg real bad, same weekend my husband lost pinky, and they were across the hall from each other. I digress. Anyway, he told me last night that he started to notice some redness and some sort of pussing at one particular area along, you know, the incision that is the chainsaw. And he went to the doctor having sort of a panic on, thinking blood poisoning or whatever. And the doctor said to him, "Oh, that was good." And he was shocked. And the doctor said, "No, that's just a reaction to the stitches. Let's get them out of there." You know, and it was quite eye-opening for me because he didn't get alarmed, and neither did the doctor. And yet he said, I was Googling and thinking, okay, I gotta get there. My leg fall off. So, you know, it picks up on Syl's point about it could be an allergic reaction, but it also could be a detox. I'm sorry.
Or something was something else.
Yeah.
All right. Next question, like most frequently asked question, ADD, ADHD. Which one, like so and so has ADD, ADHD, and it's like, which one shall I give it? It's like, I don't know. Like now you know my answers already. It's like, I don't know. Is that really ADD and ADHD, or somebody just give you the stamp? If I will do the diagnosis, yes, but other than that, maybe not. All right. It's a question.
I have a granddaughter who's 15.
You can do it close. Look at the cross.
Granddaughter who's 15 still cannot, and she's been diagnosed for years. Start.
Usually, as a practitioner, I with this story, what she just said. Usually, I said, there is two problems already. ADHD and cannot read. That's not ADHD. The reason why, because they will read so fast. Like they read so fast. Okay? But same thing again. Like don't ask me, like, okay, you know them better. What are they experiencing? What are the symptoms? Okay. You have to learn it, not me. Like I know. It's a little easier to ask from Dr. Sylvia because she don't know. No, she won't. No, the reason why because I try to teach you guys too that you have to learn it because if diagnosed with ADD, ADHD, and cannot read, okay, that's for me as a practitioner it has to be something completely different. However, you know your granddaughter, you get the paper again. Start writing down what are the experience, how is the focus, how is the learning, how long they can sit, can they multitask, can they sleep, can they that's why I said you will have to start learning these things because which one is the best to start with? I don't know, like I can tell you a little bit longer, like or better, if I will be able to sit down and talk to them. Until that, like just from these 3 sentences, like I don't know. But if you really want to go with the ADD, ADHD route, flow and focus. Okay. Now, if they're like that's the two main things. The main patches. The other one, you like again, like addition to. Okay, you start HPT and focus and flow. All right, or you will have to experience that HPT and focus or HPT and flow. Which one it is gives a better results for that. All right, you are the one who's there, not me. You are the one who's gonna be. Who's gonna be a question, not me. Okay. 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 She just said she has trouble focusing. Which one, guys?
Focus.
And HPT. There you go. Okay.
Sylvia, what could she have said? What could she have said? And you would have said flow.
Flow, like that's like in the beginning I said flow and or focus. Because flow is versatile. I'm not there to diagnose that if she has really ADD or ADHD. I have no clue. If I don't, she is for sure. So to be able to determine and like impacting like multiple pathways, use HPT and focus or flow and or. Okay. Which one is gonna work or work the best for her granddaughter? She will tell us, not me. Okay.
But she said she has trouble focusing.
That's right.
So that led us to okay.
Focus. Because focus.
But if she had said, what else? But she had said that would have taken you to say.
But like if I would say that like okay. Focus. Play, learning, creating. Distractions and challenges, focusing. Okay. Flow. Attention, clarity, calmness. If she would like, that's why I said and or. Okay. The reason why, because like focus, like if she's like running around she cannot learn. Like she's saying that, okay, she cannot focus and she still cannot learn. In my opinion, like professional opinion, it's completely different, but there's reasons, but there is you guys has to understand that like what is, you don't have to choose. Okay, if you're a little like you're not 100% sure, or you don't know where one day one or 1 week like one, where next week, not day by day, but like because you will have to give enough time to go through. So like where HPT and focus 1 week, where HPT and flow the next week, and let's see. Okay, because we don't know.
I have a perfect example of that. A little boy, 7 years old, second week in September, still not settling down, teacher calling, blah, blah, blah. So the mom, grandmother contacted me. So I suggested box, that age group, and then I thought, well,
You know, because what you just said, not settling down.
yeah, he was all, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. And so he had been diagnosed with ADHD. They had tried chemical drugs a year ago, lost weight, didn't do well on drugs. Anyway, so she did the flow for a couple weeks. Then she ordered the focus. She read more, but I had said flow to begin with. For ADHD.
Yep.
And then she went to the focus. And oh no, they did 2 of them together for a little bit, and then she just went with the focus. The little guy last week told her, "Mom, I feel better than focus as well as the little guy that
Yep.
well could actually feel the difference."
And that's what I said. And more. Okay.
So, Dr. Bill, and I heard it directly from Jay, that sleep, technology in the sleep has been broken out, and the sleep is actually flow, focus, and feedback.
And that's the great one. And darn all we lost our sleep.
All right, guys. Any other question? All right.
I jump back to allergic reaction.
Yes, sir. Yep.
So allergic, I understand healing crisis, so allergic reaction is underneath the patch itself. So can you comment on, I can have a but all the adhesion and everything is the same, correct? So I have one that I am more reactive to than others. Like in the same location, and then I'm looking forward to trying to connect, I'm one of the ones who had a significant under the patch experience with that. And so like, but they're the same adhesion, we told them the same materials, same adhesive. So
It's same,
not
okay.
all body odor.
All right. If you know a little bit more about manufacturing, same materials, same adhesions, it is still hypoallergic. However, even a hypoallergic, what we will have to say that you will have to fall under the 95 to 98%. Some people still do not have like experience like allergic reactions. Now, why some patch causing more reactions than the other one? Even though usually I used to say like if you're familiar with manufacturing, like okay, it's the same materials, same patches. Is it the same concentration? Supposed to, but sometimes like a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Like, so like why one of them is more like sometimes like it's causing more reaction because it's not the same batch. Who knows who makes that batch, or like is they use the same ingredients or not? There is so many variability in it.
And that helps because I know, I'm aware that I haven't quite my sensory. So that's really helpful.
Okay.
What I'm understanding, just to clarify, you said and or pretty much for anything tells you it's not gonna hurt to wear an extra patch. It's not like it's negative, right? Nothing cancels anything out. So if it's out, go for two.
That's right.
Yeah.
So. So many times, like, yes, you're absolutely right. Like one of them is not canceling out the other. It is helping or enhancing each other. The reason why I said and or, because either or the kids or the clients doesn't want to wear that many patches or that many products. I was like, all right.
Understood, yeah. So you're trying to narrow it
The
down.
narrowing down, which is gives them the best feel. Yes.
So one of my toughest ones for most people is arthritis. You know, and there's the odd person that gets some relief, and I never know what to do. What do you feel?
Arthritis.
Oh, my.
Arthritis is that rheumatoid arthritis? Is this spondylosis ankylosis, or is this maybe vasculitis? Is that caused by too much sugar, or it is caused by the medications what are they taking? Is that caused by hormonal imbalances? Is that caused by what is called? Like that's why I said like flora, because like that's the thing. Like, but that's the same reason. Arthritis. It's the big umbrella. Like wow, no, and that's why I said like try to explain to them why is working for someone and why is not working or not working yet. Yeah, because maybe you will or like you together have to find the proper combination for that person. Are they willing to work with you or not? That one, but that's why I said to the guys, we are not dealing with like we are not medicals or you know like the medical like you know like the doctors that oh you have arthritis here is your pills goodbye. Which arthritis, which not, I don't know. Right? Usually, you know better your clients and just ask from them, please work with me. Let's go through different phases, and let's try which one is gonna work the best for you. Okay. Any other questions?
I just wanted to say for the arthritis thing, I had an X-ray. They always do an X-ray first because it's cheaper and quicker. And I was told, yeah, arthritis in my knee, I couldn't bend my knee. Very painful, and I have a torn meniscus. And it got worse and worse. I literally had to lift my leg going down the stairs. They kept saying arthritis. Then I got an MRI. I had a massive ganglion in the back, and that's why I couldn't bend my knee. Put the patch on, it totally helped. I don't know whether it's helping with arthritis or whether if I hadn't known about it, it's the ganglia it's helping with.
Or do I really have arthritis? And
that was
or which one?
Yeah.
Yes.
Freedom.
Okay.
Freedom.
Freedom.
It's been amazing.
Any other questions?